Pokey Pummel is kind of the hypest minigame in the Mario Party series. When it shows up, everyone's gotta lock in. They're cracking their knuckles, twisting the controller. I've never played any other game where people need to sit on the floor. Growing up with Mario Party, I played every minigame so much, I knew them all inside and out. I was an unstoppable force, and my sister and cousins could never beat me. Unless it was a button masher. These were my kryptonite. My technique sucked, my wrist was limp. No matter what I do, I was the slowest masher in the group by a wide margin. And I think my inability to win is what caused Pokey Pummel to become one of the all-time greats. Mario Party has seen its fair share of button mashers over the years, but they all vary slightly in the buttons you press, the time limit, and how many times the button needs to be pressed. Pokey Pummel is the ideal combination of these variables. The big-ass green button, 65 presses. Long enough to test your skills, but short enough you won't get fatigued. It's the perfect length to replay a dozen times, and the reason we'd replay Pokey Pummel is for the record. When I was 8, I'd typically score 13 seconds, maybe 12 on a good day. I can't even comprehend being that slow. I remember opening up the staff record menu and thinking the fastest possible time was 6 or 7 seconds, and then being blown away 3:46 was even possible. Since then, I've been grinding to improve at the game, and a decade later, 8 seconds became my best. But I was still a little slower than my oldest cousin was when she was that age. A bit more training, and I could reclaim the record on my memory card. And then, out of nowhere, the Pokey Pummel record became a trophy between two strangers. My best friend and my brother-in-law. In 2017, I was playing Mario Party 7 with my buddy, and when Pokey Pummel showed up, he knocked the time down to a 6:41, about a second quicker than the record. I mentioned it to my sister and brother-in-law like it was this legendary feat, and then he became really interested in the game, effortlessly dropping it to a sub-6. I sent my friend a picture, and a rivalry began. Over the next few months, they traded the crown, taking turns lowering it a few more frames. And when the dust settled, they were tied at 5:35. Watching the two of them, I knew sub-5 was possible. Frequently a run would be on pace, but every time they'd burn out too fast, and their energy faded after the first 3 seconds. There would be days of attempts with no progress made, and I started to doubt if either of them could do it. But after a month of grinding, this happened. The guy's gonna win. Ooh. My buddy got a 5:01, just a hair above sub-5, a time that would tease him for years. He and my brother-in-law continued to make a push, but neither could improve. And as of 2021, that's where the record stood. Until the Donkey Konga 3 incident. So I import GameCube games from Japan, and an important thing to know about that is some imports will format your memory card. I've always been careful about this and use a backup card for these games, but when I got Donkey Konga 3 in the mail and put it in my GameCube to test it, I forgot to remove my memory card, and in the blink of an eye, my entire childhood was erased, including the Pokey Pummel record. Fortunately, in 2017, I backed up my files on the import cards, so the Pokey Pummel time was back at 6:41. And with the record up for grabs again, breaking sub-5 was more important than it's ever been. I called some friends over and put up a bounty. $5 to beat 520, $20 for 5:01 or better. We gave our all for an hour, and by the end, we were tired, sweaty, and overcome by the realization that our 23-year-old bodies were too old to button mash. The best we could get was 5:18. So far away from 5:01, it didn't seem obtainable anymore. But the discovery of a new technique gave me hope. Slide mashing. By wrapping your finger in cloth, its surface becomes smooth enough to slide over the A button without ever lifting your hand. This method redefines the condition to complete a button press, and I believed it was the key to finally breaking the record. But every attempt of slide mashing was met with a hiccup or mistake that stopped us from saving any time. Another year passed, and the record was still untouched, and I was fed up with it. Hanging out with my best friend one day, I wanted to give slide mashing one more chance, but I decided we should warm up our hands with Super Smash Bros. First. When the time was right, I pulled out the GameCube and put in Mario Party 7. This would be the last attempt. If we didn't break the record today, it would be time to close the book on Pokey Pummel and reclaiming 5:01. I loaded up the minigame, and then something unbelievable happened. On the first try, I didn't just break the record. I destroyed it, nearly a whole second quicker. I, the slowest button masher, reclaimed the record for the first time in 17 years. Slide mashing, as I predicted, was the secret to breaking sub 5. I no longer had to live knowing I deleted the 501, and my friend could finally rest knowing his lost time was defeated. Pokey Pummel was beat. And 423 is where the record sits today.
Go! Finish!
What the fuck?